Welcome back to another episode of Twisted Metal Companion. You guys actually sitting over there wishing to fly and falling out of a window is Tyler. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. Hoping to be invisible one day.
Invincible? Is it? I think it's invincible. Did you say invisible?
Oh, I thought it was invisible.
I think she says invincible.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure. I'll definitely have the caption on when we do our watch along.
Either way.
But we've reached the halfway point, and we're still continuing on our commentaries for the episodes from season two. I don't think anything new has come out. Just the halfway point. I did notice with episode seven that there was no next on. Um
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, so that was kind of interesting. I don't know if it's just something because we reached the halfway point and there's already been like enough to kind of show us what's to come. So that's kind of interesting. How do you feel about the first half so far, Tyler?
Yeah. I mean, it's great. Like we've been introduced to so many new characters, and I mean the whole world. Is just like ever expanding. And especially in the episode six, we're going to see here in a little bit. We get a little bit of a flashback there. It's like, oh, the world was, these people were closer than they thought. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I really quite enjoy it. And to kind of I guess jump ahead a little bit to the opening of episode six. I did not expect a flashback to kind of give us a lot. Um, since well, I guess we can kind of talk about it. I asked you about like the first half of season two. We can talk about episode six, Make a Wish. I don't have the info. I'll try to pull that up at the same time here. But let's talk about episode six. Your thoughts overall on episode six, and then let's talk about that cold open a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this one's, I wasn't expecting, to get everyone's wish, like kind of
Right.
right up front, get all this. Um, it's definitely something I was expecting, like near the end, to kind of find out what everyone else had wished for. But yeah, it's a great episode, and yeah, the opening, I had like previously I just kind of like scrubbed through a little bit, and I saw the scene here with Calypso and John, not realizing that it was a flashback,
Mm.
and I was just like, wow, I have no idea how we're getting to this point. It looks like they're going out camping together.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I do like some of these visual cues. Obviously, seeing Evelyn makes you think either, wait, what is this? Is this season one or what's going on? But then when you see what John's wearing, you're like, okay, this is something we haven't seen before. I do kind of question that. So, are we going to get a moment where John has that? I don't know if it's a realization, but at least be like, Calypso looks awfully familiar. They like it could have been some time ago, maybe drinking that the beverage there, maybe it'll make him kind of forget. So I thought it was interesting to put them in not only in a scene together, but have a whole ass conversation together as well. The reveals of the wishes, I thought was also very interesting. I like how Axel talks about how like it's kind of like birthday cake rules, like you don't reveal it or it won't happen. But yeah, to me, I kind of like the unknown and the mystique and the mystery of it all. And for them to all come out with their wishes all at once, I don't know how I felt about that. And so I wonder what's going to happen here on out because like now knowing what we know in terms of their wishes, like that, uh, I'm sure there's a reason for it, but it almost breaks that rule of like not keeping all of your eggs in one basket. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just told us all the wishes, so now what's up? But I do find it interesting that Mike gets interrupted by Vermin, so we don't hear his wish, and that's by design. What does it mean? Don't know. Um, I do like episode six because it gives us. It's also interesting that like these are all like killers, the type of people that won't hesitate to kill somebody even for the littlest things. We're gonna take them back to high school, and it kind of Um, I don't know. It's really interesting to kind of see them all together in close proximity. And
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna learn that you can't kill like during the tournament or something like that. Or Calypso gives
They're
us
like the
some of
off times.
yeah, yeah. So I'm glad that they dropped that line to, if anybody was gonna wonder like why isn't anybody doing anything? So I don't know. I thought it was interesting, but I thought it was still fun nonetheless. So
Yeah, I think the yeah, like putting them in high school and then having them, have these like forced like living situations like Vermin and Axel, being stuck together, and you get that kind of like these characters naturally probably would just kind of do their own thing at all times given the ability, and so instead, you force them to be roommates together, and you get those funny interactions between them.
yeah. Okay, I think that's enough of the initial discussion, and we will get into episode 6. This is Make a Wish. I don't think there's really any name game worth playing there. It's pretty self-explanatory. Phil Riccia. It's filled with a difficult name for us. And returning writer Alyssa Forlighter, who I believe the last episode we reviewed of hers was Nut House. Um, the one with the pit and also the
Mm-hmm.
flashback to Marcus Kane with the two scoops. So okay, Peacock describes this episode as John and Quiet forge new alliances and rivalries. Sweet Tooth crosses paths with a familiar foe. I think they nailed that one. That one's pretty straight and to the point. Okay, so Make a Wish, queuing it up to the very beginning of this episode. And if you're ready, I can do
Right.
the countdown. Okay, all right. So here we go for the folks at home. We're gonna push play on go. Three, two, one, go. Dum, dum. Okay. Whoa. Ah, I'm gonna have to change that. My audio is coming out of the laptop. I want it to come out of my earbuds or
Oh,
headphones. So apologies if you guys hear some of the audio right now. We're kind of getting caught up on what has previously happened. Oh man, I don't want to have to mute this. I have to mute that real quick. Okay. Sound. Um, okay. All right. I think I am good to go now. Yep. Okay. Tyler, give me a testing. Let me make sure you're coming through.
testing.
Okay.
Hear
Good
me
to
now.
go. I can hear you now. Yep. Okay. So here we go. John and Quiet turning around to go save Mayhem. Peacock Original. I can't stop watching the Dracula scene. It's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
That song has become an earworm for me, and it was not a song I was familiar with. I never listened to metal, new metal, anything like that when I was younger or in high school. It was definitely like just rap and R&B. So yeah, we open up on a flashback. Evelyn, really nice to see her again. We got somebody, walking in the dark in the woods and about to spray paint Calypso is real, but gets interrupted by the sound of a oncoming vehicle. Did you did you know it was Calypso right away? We like at
Uh,
the first sight of the person from behind.
no, no,
Okay.
yeah, I did not.
I thought it was interesting that this must go a ways back, unless, magic or whatever. But the idea that Calypso is still, um, he's in regular clothes.
Mhm.
We know that he's supposed to be like the leader or whatever of New Chicago. So they don't specify, unless I missed it, they don't specify how long ago this was.
No, yeah, and it definitely seems like this is almost like his like rise up. Like he's prophesizing what's going to come.
Yeah. And I do gotta say I feel this kind of predates season one. I didn't do any, side by sides, but I would bet that John's shirt is just that much cleaner. The yellow shirt
Mhm.
from season one is probably just that much cleaner. And Evelyn, probably a less. I don't remember if what he all added to Evelyn in season one, but if you combine the two images, or not combine, but if you do the side by side comparison, I'm sure it'd be less upgraded and such.
I
Um,
like the line where Calypso. Oh, I'm sure you milkmen all talk about
right.
Calypso. He's like, no, not really.
That pays off, later on when John asks him, like, what do you wish for? And he says, I want to be seen, you know. Um, yeah, it's just I like this John in this opening sequence. I like this John better than the John we're gonna get in episode 7, kind of tipping my
Oh
hands a
yeah,
little bit. Yeah.
yeah. There's some weird stuff. Yeah, especially like even in the beginning of 7, where it's
Yeah,
like I don't know why John is acting this way, even with what's going on. Like,
right. Well,
yeah,
that
what's
and
going
I
on.
have some comments about Quiet myself. So yeah, I wonder if they did anything like maybe the makeup to make maybe John look a little bit thinner, because he obviously he's bulked up since between season 1 and 2, Anthony Mackie that is because of like Captain America 3. Especially yeah, if you compare, for example, like the was it episode 6 when they go to Astro Burger or whatever? But when
Yeah,
he's like
something like
topless
that.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you compare the times that he's been topless from season 1 and 2, you can tell obviously the body difference. But I do um in this sequence, his face does look a little bit thinner. Like maybe he hasn't eaten as much either. I know that's what they did with like Quiet's face in the Astro Burger flashback as well. And I guess I didn't mention it, but I am doing this recording at a different location, and I have a TV behind me, so I'm able to display, something in the background just for those that are watching video at home.
The Calypso of this podcast,
Right.
prophesies in the future.
See some bullet holes in the back of Evelyn.
Yeah, and you would really think because you would mention John remembering this or not, like this interaction. Like if you met a wizard in the woods, you would think that
Right.
that would stick in your head.
Right, 100%. When we first saw Calypso spray painting, he didn't finish Calypso is real, and now that he's disappeared, John's looking at that sign, and the sign is complete, with the graffiti. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, magical, and of the sorts. And so, I find that interesting. I hope that it comes up. Um, I don't, that can't be something I feel that that's gotta have had come up in the writer's room, like,
Yeah.
well, is John ever gonna bring that up? So the fact that we don't know yet, I feel there is gonna be a moment coming. So Chucky Floop drives. Are we gonna find out in this episode? Is it next
Uh,
episode?
I think it's the or yeah, I think it's the
Is
next episode
Yeah,
where we
okay.
get the
But
name.
I guess I can still talk about his car.
Yeah.
He is driving an Audi Quattro, 2001, 2002, somewhere thereabouts. And that's not the same one he drives in the video games. So I guess I can either discuss it now or later, but we are going to find out that that vehicle is Quatro, the alien from the games, but they're using it as a vehicle here in the series. So I do love that the fact that it is an Audi Quattro, spelled differently, two T's, where Quattro the alien has one T. And the license plate, for those with a keen eye, it does say like Xeon 407 or 407. And so you put for those that used to text with the T9s, that four could also be, well, no, that's not even correct. Before the T9s, if you were just like paging somebody, right? Like the four could also be either be like an A or an H. So
Mhm.
H O no 40. Damn it, what is it? Hov V. I think it is 40 V. Anyway, so it's like
Or
Xeon
yeah,
hover bike. That's what Quatro rode in the games.
yeah. I was surprised we saw like the move to use the EMP, uh, and I was like, wow, so soon. Like I imagine the EMP being like a end game, kind of like last resort thing.
Right. It kind of all makes sense. I didn't
Yeah,
like the idea of Dollface, Krista entering herself in the tournament just to watch their backs as well. The thought did cross my mind. I go, well, that doesn't sound good. Someone's gonna die, you know.
yeah,
I do love how Brimstone, which is actually Preacher's vehicle from the games, it's a different type of vehicle, and this one's like a PT Cruiser. It is both called Brimstone, and I do love how Deacon and Benjamin just coast in ever so quietly because baby preacher is sleeping or something.
hmm
Um,
uh, and
yeah,
we just saw Sweet Tooth, confronting uh,
Stu.
Stu. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
like that his head is aflame while he's angry, saying like don't double or don't turn on me or whatever. But then right as he's turning to say, but I love the chaos and so I'm not going to hold a grudge. The fire just like extinguishes
Huh.
right then as he kind of turns.
Okay. I that's something I've missed, but I was trying to look at it as you were just talking about it. But yeah, I'll go back and check that out. It's that's why I love watching these episodes over and over. There's always something that I pick up the third, the fourth, the fifth time. The season two by far, and not to say anything about season one, but these episodes are much more fun to rewatch over and over. Where season one spent, laying the groundwork and building the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the EMP not working here for Dollface, but Plan B, she's able to rotate her seat 180 and shoot this rifle. I think it's a M50. I forget the weapon, but anyway, she was shooting at Mr. Grimm, so it was Grimm versus her. I did find it interesting that her mask, at least the eye part, was bulletproof, or at
Yeah,
least that at a certain angle it won't penetrate straight through. Okay, so Dollface gets impaled by a makeshift what is it called? The crossbow,
harpoon
right? Yeah,
or
harpoon.
yeah,
Did not expect this early on, and I was shocked. My mouth had dropped. But I think it's not until we see John in quiet in a little bit is when like I started, you know, hearing up myself. So
yeah.
yeah, this really affected me.
Yeah, and I love this use of uh,
Yeah.
the like orbital strike to just take them out.
And then the POV from the with the missile going down to, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, it's so good. Oh, I'm getting chills just watching it. And I loved how like that harpoon just pulls her, it just yanks her off that
Mm-hmm.
ATV. So the ATV just keeps on going in that straight direction. And what a hell of a reveal to
Yeah,
John and Quiet, who's like, there's one more driver. And as they're waiting for Dollface, the only thing that shows up is the ATV. It's just well crafted right here. Which is what's interesting is like I'd have to like pause and like check it, but I don't even think we really see the ATV coming. So
no, yeah.
yeah,
When he mentions, yeah, like oh, there's one more driver, it's kind of like looking out to see what he was seeing, and it just looked like he's just accounting for her, hoping that she shows up.
right. And well, I guess you kind of do see it come at a certain angle that like if you're
Yeah,
just looking straight down, you don't really see it. But yeah. So when Dollface took off her mask, do you think she kind of already made up her mind at that point? Like this, like I'm gonna die here. Like right? I mean, but that's also before she gets impaled. She like I think I think because the eye is shattered, she takes it off.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I think she just kind of knows it's pretty dire. Not a lot of hope.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
All of them crammed into the school bus.
Well, not only that, but just the end of that sequence right there, it's almost like everyone's gutted, right, at the death of Dollface, and here's Calypso just carrying on, basically. And welcome to Twisted Metal. Like,
Hmm.
what did you guys expect? Like somebody, like you guys were all gonna live through this, so we get our first fatality, and it's still the first round. Can everybody hear me? I know there's like six rows.
Yeah,
Let's see, one, two, three, four, maybe five rows. Yeah, it is pretty hilarious. It's such a short bus. He's using a microphone still. I like the little bit of the uh, mirror, the bus driver's mirror. Like you can see Mayhem. You
hmm
know, like it gives us like another thing to look at, just not at Calypso. Vermin seems to be like the most upset with the rule, like no killing outside of the tournament time or whatever. What do you say? Tournaments rule? What? Rounds.
hmm And the school and the bus there, the Jaffe Campbell,
Jeffy Campbell. Yep.
uh, yeah, which I David Jaffe, creator.
And
Uh,
Scott Campbell.
yeah, that one I wasn't as
They're
familiar with.
co-creators. They're
Yeah.
co-creators. I love this little weigh-in and stuff like that. 390 is what Sweet Tooth is. This uh this is the reveal of those character profiles from prior to the drop of season two, where it says Sweet Tooth is his name and the vehicle's name too.
Hmm.
So Sweet Tooth is going to provide you a urine sample and it's all black, like far. I thought that was interesting. I also do let's see, little Doughboys reference here by Stu. I'm his belt boy. Thank you, Stu. Wait. That's not right. Oh boy. I realized that my window is open and might be able to hear like the neighbor's uh lawnmower. I'm
Oh,
gonna close it real quick. Oh, Vermin trying to kiss the doctor. That's also lovely.
hmm. And they it didn't take the time to clean up the school. It was just dust and cobwebs everywhere. Detritus. I
All this
like
provided
everyone.
too. Meals,
The,
lodging,
mm,
just for the tournament.
everybody being assigned to just like the different classrooms and the sweet tooth science. We're nerds.
Yeah, I love it. It's almost like a real genius, bust out the robot a little bit here. But yeah, I do like this how they ran over to the list too. Like it's that thing we've seen in sitcoms and stuff. Like, oh, what class do I have? Oh, we're not in the
Mhm.
same room. So I do love this. So yeah.
And Raven here, yeah, really just kind of like expecting to get, better treatment than everyone else. Like,
I,
um,
I kind of get it though, but I mean, she's also like the ruler of New San Francisco. She's the only other person other than Calypso that kind of runs her own
mhm,
town. And so I do understand that, but they're giving us just a little bit of their history, and also enough that like we have no idea where it's going. Like the nosebleed that's about to happen, I still don't really understand. See, she just mentioned like the most powerful city on the West Coast. So yeah, Eclipse's eyes turning red is extremely scary, almost looking like I don't know, like some sort of snake or something. Or
mhm.
yeah, so the nosebleed. The last time we saw that, it was a fake one. Was the opening sequence of season two in 201 with the young Raven. That
Oh
was
yeah, yeah.
ketchup, right? At least I don't. I'm not sure if that was ketchup or I thought the ketchup was maybe for the bedroom, like all the smearing and all that. I don't.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, maybe it's kind of a misdirect. Like we think that it's for the nosebleed, but there
Right.
is something wrong or something going on.
I love that Mike and Stu apparently performed "The Boy Is Mine," little Monica and Brandy. I do remember when that song was huge. So
Yeah.
Dave, yeah, I guess Dave is just a nice guy, right? Like that's really
Hmm.
it. Not necessarily like woke or anything like that. He's just a really nice dude. Like just good vibes all the time.
And Sweet Tooth just immediately getting right to the pillow fort.
Right. Did we already miss the part where he throws something at Stu? That already happened? Like he throws a pillow or a mattress at him?
Yeah, get these mattresses out of here, and Stu is not happy about having to sleep on the floor still.
I think I did miss the line already, but doesn't Stu tell to say to Mike that it's kind of like Jupiter Prep or something.
Yeah, he's talking about the school they used to go to.
Yeah, and so Stu's really having FOMO, seeing that Mike's moved on with a new bestie and they're
Hmm.
excited to bunk together and all this stuff. And Stu, yeah, definitely feels left out and that he's a little bit stuck with Sweet Tooth. So we got a moment here with Quiet and John talking about Dollface. When one doll falls, another picks up the mask. Yeah. It's yeah, so Quiet is telling John that they need to win and have the walls come down basically to honor Dollface.
Hmm.
What was she talking about? The weird what now? I missed.
Uh, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so we're in the cafeteria. Mayhem just grabbed like 3 beers.
Yeah, and I like Quiet's like looking at her, like disapprovingly, and it's like
Right.
I don't know at this point, like she's
Yeah.
probably fine drinking beer,
Yeah,
and
but also
Axel
Mayhem.
just having
Right.
such trouble.
And you can see that there's the different types of sandwiches. It looks like PB&J, and then the next one looks like maybe egg salad. But I thought that he only consumed gasoline. So yeah, having difficulties grabbing a bottle, holding a tray, Raven is kind enough to help him. Vermin hasn't had like people food in a while, probably.
this
Hey,
this fake out here with
yeah,
Dave.
they
Yeah,
got me. They got me with this one. I don't know about you, but
I was
I
no, when it happened, I was like, oh no, Peter, he's hurt.
we got space muchacho. Hey, see, so Dave's open for a threesome. No pause. And see, Stu's feeling good about that. Sweet Tooth is like watching all of this thing. Apparently, Harold has some issues as well. Enters Calypso. I like the reaction to Raven. Raven sees Calypso and it's like, all right, I don't want to, cross that line again or whatever. Grim is staring at something, definitely not at Calypso. You see that? You
Yeah.
see how Grim is like
Oh
really out
yeah,
of it? Yeah, he's
yeah. It
just
sounded like powered down.
right. So I don't think he's even. Is he still? Oh, him and Sweet Tooth are staring at each other. Him and Sweet Tooth are staring
Okay.
at each other. I also find it interesting. Raven sitting on top of the table. I wonder if that's a little bit like, well, Raven is kind of above everybody for kind of being the leader of her own city. So, yep, come up with your wishes. This is also kind of interesting that he's like, think about it. What do you guys want? I feel you entered the tournament because you already had the wish,
Hmm.
right? So now everybody's kind of pondering. So I thought that was a little interesting.
And maybe like now that it's come down to it, you have to make that decision. Really, really choose, what you actually want, what's important. As we'll
Right.
see, I don't know that some of them uh, have made the right decision.
Right. And that's just like the games too, right? Where you're just like, that doesn't sound like the greatest thing. Yeah, see, they still been staring at each other this entire time. And I love the sequence with Frostbite who gets called up first by Calypso to come through the door. Um, this is her first line. That's the door. She gestures to the door with her head. It's just it's the best. And I do wonder if that was by design too. Like, oh, when she does have a line, the first one's gonna be so vanilla, so pedestrian that people are gonna be like, wait, that's it. But yeah, I thought that was great. Grim here, just yeah, little lunchroom fight. We love it. I like how Stu like, mentions like he also here or whatever. Excuse me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Gestures over to the holy man, who, because now the attention is to them, they're trying to pretend like they weren't being nosy or, paying attention,
Hmm.
trying to pretend to mind their own business.
Yeah, really getting the high school, schoolroom tension. It's
Yeah.
like a bunch of people who don't really like each other just being forced to sit around and commingle.
Hey, does that almost remind you of me and a coworker back a few years back?
Yeah.
A little awkward silence after a confrontation. Yeah, so I like these like little cuts to kind of advance, like okay, everyone's gonna have their wish, but the attention is gonna be on John and Quiet, who are also last,
Hmm.
given what happened at the beginning of this episode with Dollface dying. I think this is what they want to focus on. Um, we are kind of nearing the end of this. What did you think about of this moment when John and Quiet go through the door? Quiet throws a token down the wishing well, wishes for the walls to come down, and then John changes to wish for them to bring Krista back.
Yeah, I mean, I it was interesting that that I guess that was allowed. And I wonder like really does that overwrite the wish? Is it because they're kind of like they're called in as a team,
Right,
so like
right. One wish per car.
If John were to not make it and Quiet ends up finishing, is it her wish that wins, or is it his? Um, but I'll say a little bit like the uh, John, taking that decision and choosing to try and save Dollface or bring her back or whatever was a little bit of a kind of I don't know expected, like not my favorite, surprise there.
Mm. You kind of knew that was coming. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, okay. For me, I
it just
I did.
kind of seems like the thing like, oh, of course he would do that, and I feel like it's done a good job of like kind of juking those kind of expected actions for the characters.
Right. We do
More
get a
of a nitpick.
flashback to something we haven't seen before. It's Krista and John, and she had just made him, the new vest with a spider on the back. And yeah, just this, these, even though this is brand new to us, this is the thing that I was connecting to, this relationship between Krista
Mm-hmm.
and John. I very much felt like this is me and my sister. We love to bullshit together and bust each other's balls, so to speak. And I was here for this dynamic. And so when she died at the beginning of the episode, like I was truly gutted. I was just like, fuck, like that's li literally like my sister. Um, and so this will be interesting. Like I do like how you kind of question, does John's second wish, does that override Quiet's first wish? They're gonna be coming in together, question mark, at the finish line. We don't know. So much is still unknown. We don't know if we're gonna be finishing the tournament in the season, right? Like I don't know how many seasons did they outline for the show. I don't know if they have an end game in mind. So many questions. At least with Cobra Kai, pretty early on at some point, one of the showrunners revealed that they had outlines for 6 seasons. And then at some point, like when that would come up, that would never be answered again, or they would never give a number. But for those that were covering the show, or at least around early enough, remember like, oh, 6 seasons. And so that was no surprise. It was just a matter of like what happens in between. This one is a crapshoot. Like anyone's guess is just as good as anyone else's. So I have no idea what the end game is. I wouldn't be surprised if John and Quiet don't make it to the seasons 3 or 4. There's maybe Mayhem. Like somebody asked me, I did another Q&A on Instagram. Someone's like, I think Mayhem's gonna make it all the way. And I was like, I mean, possibly, but John and Quiet have to go through a lot too before we just get rid of them to have
Yeah.
Mayhem come in season 2 and then end up winning the tournament, whether it's in season 2 or 3. So have no idea. Again, we're just over the halfway point. Um, let's see. Let's get to our games. Did you have anything else you want to talk about real quick before we get to that from this episode?
No, yeah, I guess just kind of like wrap up the feelings on like the wish. Like I understand he just kind of hit that point where he's like accepted that like this is his sister and this is someone that he cares about. They're working together, but it's that like she kind of like sacrificed herself or to help them get to their goal, and their goal together was try and bring equality for everyone. And so like John kind of taking that kind of selfish turn, to be like, I mean, well, let's say he brings her back, is she going to be happy now that like, oh, well, you saved me, but now everything like that we worked for, and now we're kind of back at square one. um, I get it, but it's he's not going to be happy with this decision. I know that.
Right. Neither is
Yeah.
Quiet. I think this episode by design is supposed to make us feel uncomfortable. It's supposed to make us kind of it it's difficult to process because you would hope that by episode 206 that John and Quiet, especially how the last few episodes, how they've really been clicking, that that they can have that discussion.
Mhm.
John's grieving, but so should be Quiet. Quiet spent 7 months with Dollface, with Krista. John just basically met her. And
Yeah.
so I feel that's the discussion they should have had. But Twisted Metal rules, you wish for somebody to come back. I remember reading somewhere where you do that, then usually somebody else dies in their place. There's something like that, or be careful how you word it when you wish for someone to come back, because is she gonna have a harpoon still like impaled through her but be alive? Is she gonna be that same version of Dollface that we saw when she died, or is this gonna be like kind of a evil Dollface? So definitely a lot of different questions. um Trying to think what else I had about that pairing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like just
And
the idea that you know there is a chance that John and Dollface do make it to the finish line and survive because they are your leads, number one. Um, but also like number two, like I feel you have to bring your characters down really, really low. So that way when they have that victory, that win, is that much more earned. And
Yeah,
so I think that's all we're doing is kind of knocking our leads back down a peg, to kind of take a line from young Raven from episode one of season two here. So you bring them back down so that way they figure, kind of get their shit back together again. And, now we can kind of root for their rise, so to speak. Because if
yeah.
they're just accelerating all the way up here, like there's really no room for error in a way.
Well,
So yeah,
like you said with the kind of like the rules of the of Twisted Metal, like with the wishes, someone coming back, that means you have to like also lose somebody. When we get to the next episode and we start hearing some of what the other people wished for, it immediately made me think of
mm,
those like the ironic kind of Twisted Metal endings. It's like, oh, you wished for the ability to fly. Well,
right.
here, I'll throw you off a cliff and you'll fly.
Yeah. But
Things
that's
like that.
yeah, I mean, we're transitioning to episode seven, but I feel those wishes are only if you win, right? Mhm.
Oh well, yeah, but yeah, I
Yeah,
guess I mean like I'm assuming that whatever Calypso's ability to grant these wishes is going to also come with a caveat.
price.
It's
Yeah,
not going to be just as simple as, well, yeah, sure, here you get exactly what you want.
right. And yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I don't want to jump too far ahead. Okay, so going to our games here for episode six, Make a Wish. The very first one I have, the Marcus, that's your line. What is the best line of this episode for you?
Oh, you go first.
Okay. For me, it's Frostbite. It's just a door. We've seen her back in episode five in the background, a part of the Dragula race, and then on the bus, and it's like, wow, still no dialogue, and it had to be her that gets called first to Calypso. She unsheathes like this big like not necessarily a machete, but like a Rambo knife, right? Like you hear like the shing, like she pulls it out, and she's ready and she kind of like touches the door, make sure that it's like not hot or cold or something. And once like she opens it up to make sure that it's good, she tells everybody else. Like she's already comfortable enough to speak to these people. So at some point, maybe she's already spoken with them, right? That the fact that she can confidently, say anything to them, but just that little warning, not even necessarily a warning, it's just like just the door. And then like she proceeds to go in without hesitation. So she's already made up her mind at that point where like, well, when
Mhm.
I get called, you know, uh and her being first, it's like, well, if the door's fine, I'll just go in, whatever. And so I feel like that just 15 seconds clip right there because I shared it on Instagram. I just thought it was like perfect in every second. It was just very very well done and executed. What about you?
The after they've gotten the sandwiches and right as Calypso comes in, Vermin is over explaining the like, oh, the sandwiches are actually like really good, and just keeps talking. And Calypso just goes, okay, very much like, I don't need to know any of this.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So it's Calypso's okay?
Yeah, yeah. The Calypso's
Yeah.
response to Vermin.
Thank you. Right. Yeah, yeah. I do love that. That's a great line. Who was your best character of the episode?
Uh, well, I mean, I want to go with the Knights since it looks like we're not going to see them again. But honestly, yeah, like Frostbite is the one that stands out for me. Just uh, the character design and everything, and how she holds herself and acts. Like I look forward to seeing a bit more.
Yeah, this one is so tough. Axel has that great comedic point, you know, in the lunch line, basically that's a fun one. Dave really got me, well, you know, with that fake out. Um, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Krista. The fact that she self sacrificed and made that decision kind of confidently, you know, she knows that she's not long for the world and she is helping Quiet and John to achieve that ultimate goal of bringing the walls down. So, and that's why I have Dollface behind me there. So RIP Dollface. I don't think this is the last of her. I feel, you know, either more flashbacks, kind of like how we got towards the end of this episode, or if somehow we get to an episode where John and Quiet wins and she's brought back to life, I don't think it's going to be the same Krista. So, interesting. It's something to keep an eye out for because season two has introduced kind of like new rules and you know what I mean? Like the majestic of it all, the magic and the supernatural question mark, you know, with Mr. Grimm. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Krista on that one. Best costume for you, or we can snake it and you know go best costume.
Yeah, I mean, best costume. Yeah, I think probably I'd go with Frostbite. Uh,
Okay, yeah, there's a whole lot, and the fact that her temperature was like 86 degrees or something, so just below you know the average human, which is like 96, 97. Was
yeah,
supposed to be?
it's
Yeah.
just perfect temperature.
Yeah. Um, for me, best costume, I'm gonna give it to Axel this time around because the focus is on his hands, which I guess like you don't really think about. And I didn't necessarily think that his hands were the mechanical like pieces of like metal hands. So
Hmm.
I never thought that's what that was. I did think that his hands would go inside these things. I don't know. I guess I just never really thought it through what he's able to do with his hands. And so, yeah, the fact that he can hold a tray without breaking it and gripping it, I guess that's also like the mechanics of it, right? Like you don't have nerves, so you don't feel like the tension of the plastic tray that's about to break or something like that. So I do like that because it made me go, oh, I guess I didn't think about that because like he only just drinks gasoline out of a gasoline can. We've never really seen him like do anything else with the hands, and so I'll
Yeah,
give it to Axel
his
on that.
existence has just been, holding on to things
Right.
and holding on to a gas can.
Yeah. The only thing he's been doing is just you know fisting the wheels. You know, just our best death for you.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Krista,
Yeah, we got to give it
Dollface.
to Krista. Not one that we would like to happen. I mean, if we want to, I guess you know what, her death also took out the Knights of Nebraska.
Yeah.
You know, so we could look at it that way because I would say, I mean, that's a pretty terminal kill death. Like she was gonna die, right? And the Knights of Nebraska did that, but her self-destructing, so to speak, and taking out the Knights of Nebraska, yeah, I'll give it to her for that. Post-fall slang.
Let's see. That one, I didn't really have one for the post fall slang.
Yeah, I don't think I picked up on one either, so we can skip that one. Bingo card. I did not have that on my Twisted Metal bingo card.
Oh, well, I mean, going into it for watching for the first time, yeah. I mean, Krista shooting her bag to, uh,
Oh yeah,
to bring the missile down, like that was definitely a oh shit
right.
moment.
Yeah, that
That and I'll say Sweet Tooth's urine sample. Uh, that how that man still stands is a mystery.
but also we just saw in episode one or season one when he had to go kind of replenish the like his spray bottle to spray Mike, right? When they first incarcerated him. And so we just saw that he looks super dehydrated. So has he still not drinking water since that episode? And maybe that's why it's black now. Maybe that's what it
He's
is.
suffered some off-screen nut trauma.
Right. It could be. Uh for me, my did not have that on a bingo card was definitely the death of Krista. Even though I thought it and may have not verbalized it on a podcast, I have thought that like every time I watch the sequence where, at the campfire, I believe it was at the end of episode 3, right? Test drive, maybe when she says that she's entering into the tournament. And so, like, every time I see that sequence, I'm just like, oh, I don't like the sound of that. Three of you guys, or four of you guys in this case, three different vehicles, and someone's dying. And I actually thought it could be Mayhem, and it still could be Mayhem. We don't know. Um, I did say, and I don't know if I shared this on the pod, but I had mentioned on Instagram, somebody asked me a question, and I said, um, that if mayhem is here, longed for this world. I kind of forgot what I said, but I was also kind of like the way I answered it, the implication was like there's a chance this character might die, but I do like that mayhem character. But yeah, the bingo card was definitely Krista dying. Did not expect that. And best use of a swear word.
Axel's "Can someone help me get a fucking sandwich?"
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
and
one.
just imagining him, not being able to like manipulate the door and open it, like to then have to try and unpeel the saran wrap. I'm just imagining him just like smashing the sandwich and like scooping it out.
Or with grab those with the hands and then squeeze it in a way that you can just squeeze, out of saran wrap. Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to see all of Axel trying to pretend to be human, even just for a bit.
Axel trying to fold laundry. The first time he gets a shirt in his entire life.
Well, even if his pants, yeah. I still want to know if he's, pissing gasoline. Best news. I wish I had written something down because there's a lot of swearing, so I'm gonna have to just co-sign your Axel one. I thought that I would remember something, but yeah, did not do great on that one for me. So we are now going to watch episode 7, Hit and Run. This one, Peacock describes it after their worst day of facing a series of setbacks, another obstacle tests John and Quiet. And let's see here. That episode is directed by Ian McDonald. I believe this is his first episode on Twisted Metal, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like he's also in episode 8, which is next week. So this one is written by Gilly Nissum. I believe this is also her first episode that we've come across here. Looks like that's the only episode for the rest of this season. Okay, so if everyone is ready to go with episode 8, I have it queued up to 00. Tyler, you ready?
Ready?
All right, three, two, one, go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so Peacock, here we go. Peacock original. I need to do better with these games here at the end. I do really like this episode. I will say this episode was kind of like episode 4 for me, where that first time I was a little overwhelmed, and then on the second watch, subsequent watches, I started to enjoy it a lot more and more
Mm-hmm.
because then I kind of remembered where it was going, and then I could focus on other things. So remember how I thought like, oh, Mayhem has a similar eye makeup to Raven? This is a really interesting sequence where they just look at each other, no lines.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that about, right? The distress
Uh,
wrenching,
yeah,
little
and this was the part where like the first like noticing like why is why is John like divulging this information to Axel? Like you don't need to tell him that you lied like
right,
to Quiet. All that does is like I don't know, give give Axel a like in to fuck with you. And yeah,
right.
this the almost
No,
nut
nut
tapping
check.
him and just I flinched when he went for that.
Oh no, we just saw what happened in the last episode. Yeah, I love this. Corner gonna list your cause of death as everything. And so yeah, this is one of the early sequences. Yeah, I love this like little Debo moment where like this is mine now. Quite's like, "Was that a gun?" He's like, yeah, yeah, it's totally fine. I gave it to him. I just that's such a Debo moment. You get the reference, Debo? Yes, Friday.
Oh no, I was thinking of the movie Life. Uh,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy. But
yeah.
you seen Friday, yeah?
When I was much younger,
Oh,
I haven't gone back to it.
worth a revisit. But like Debo, played by Tiny Lister
Mhm.
Jr., I think. He just takes everything. It's just like Red, I think was the character where he just kept on picking and like stealing his chains, stealing his bike, because Debo's like, "What bike? That's my bike." So like Axel here just takes the gun right off of roadkill. It's like this is mine, basically. Nice little physical acting here. Mayhem trying to take like the big machine gun, go mount it in the vehicle, but it's too heavy.
Yeah, never make it more clear that you're not comfortable with murdering people, like
Right.
calling yourself a murder slut.
I'm a murder slut. Um, Also, yeah, this bit of John here. Is it because like he's never really had to lie to anybody, at least like in the past, right? Twisted Metal world. Maybe it's because like he lied out of necessity, self-preservation, something like that. But the fact that like his girlfriend, he had to lie to her face and feels
Y-
guilty about it, that's why he's acting so out of whack, right? Like I think that first time around, I
yeah,
go, "Who is this John Doe? Like this is not the John I know."
yeah. I think it's a combination of lying. First time, probably lying to someone that he actually cares about, like
Right?
personally, and also that the lie is, it's something that's so like consequential for her,
Yeah.
like this is overriding the thing that she wants the most.
I I've never like looked at the details recently, but like Chucky Floop was talking about like Frostbite's, breasts, and I just kind of glanced over at it real quick, and I thought that there was hair coming out of like her blouse or her top or whatever, but no, it's all like her chest is frostbitten, so
Oh
it's like
yeah.
dark blue. That's yeah, I didn't pick up on that detail before. I thought it was almost like dark hair coming out of her
Mhm.
shirt. I was like, what is that? Also, like anytime somebody else has a dialogue and Vermin is in the frame, watch Vermin's face because like Lisa Gilroy is always so animated when she knows that there's coverage on like another character, so like she really I'd say like with them just
Yeah.
a little bit. You could always see yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't share my wish. So I didn't love this moment of us sharing our wishes, because now you kind of know each other's motivations and you can fuck with each other a little bit more. That's
Mhm.
just, me, like if I was a character in the scene. Also, Dave, my guy Dave, I'm not
Yeah.
objectifying, I'm just supporting. I do love his little like I called him like a cartoon pilot on Instagram.
Mhm.
Um, but that's a line that I got from like 30 Rock. Like he looks like a cartoon pilot, a walking emoji. See,
Yeah.
invincible. Yeah, Whittle
Yeah.
baby wants
Invincible.
to be invincible. So I got the caption on. The Deacon here also amused by the comment. Yeah, we got some diapers. Yeah. Also, I didn't mention it because we were discussing in the previous episode, but when Grim and Sweet Tooth were fighting and then they get broken up, like Sweet Tooth like sits back down and you see there's a sign that says like no bullying or something, or kind of in the background on the wall. So did he say, oh, okay, this is Warehouse District Warfare. This is the song I've been using, not knowing that it was in a later episode because the soundtrack's already ready. Like I don't know when we'll hear like a certain score. Um, but yeah, I like that score a lot, and this is when it comes up. But I do love like Calypso's, mentioning how John and Quiet came dead last, but now they're gonna get like a huge advantage. What did
Yeah.
you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, like I kind of like that. You know, keeping keeping the tournament like interesting. So it's not just the people who are the most capable always, coming up first. If you have a bad round and you come in last, there's still like a way to like bring yourself back up to the top.
Yeah, I guess
Much to the displeasure of Raven.
it almost encourages others to like go after them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that can also challenge them to be a better or worse driver depending on how they can handle the pressure.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, you're right. It does keep things interesting.
yeah. Like
And
you
what do you
you
think?
get a target on you as well as
Yeah.
an advantage.
So what do you think about this challenge, this round where they have to go pick up a pass? And remember, like when we broke down the trailer, we saw Mayhem holding an arm. We're like, what the fuck is that? Like whose arm is that? So we
Yeah.
find out that these 8 passes, there's like a swiping looking what would you call it? Like the little exit passes that they have to get the actual
Oh
item itself. Like how would you
yeah. I mean,
describe that?
they're like flashing chevrons. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Almost like an exit swiping kind of like
yeah.
right. And so that's what they look like, red and yellow. There's 8 kind of scattered all around. What I do love about it is like it gets these people out of the vehicles,
Mhm.
and it gets them to kind of go mano a mano, so to speak. And so it's something to kind of keep things a little bit interesting.
When they he was first describing it in the show, the hand like holding one, I was picturing the from the first episode, where John drives by and gets the shoes like in the
Oh yeah.
mall, and I was like, imagining them like driving, trying to grab them at the same time. But yeah, like I like the you have to race to a location, but then now you're like face to face with the
Right.
other
Yeah.
drivers.
So yeah, it just keeps it fresh rather than just keeping them in the vehicle the whole time. Okay, so I had issues with this sequence, not because I don't like it, but again, I think by design we're supposed to get frustrated with these characters. Um, but like I mentioned, Quiet spent 7 months at least with Krista. John finds out that that's his sister, and they bonded, had a great episode 3 together. But as they're riding off, and I guess we're also learning that they are going to alternate driving. What I don't like about it, it's like, I think Quiet should be a better reader. Like, if she can grieve a little bit better than him, fine. But the fact that she busts out that mask and not understanding that the mask is what's making him lose focus, I thought
Yeah,
I didn't like that for her. And I just didn't think that was a good thing to do because like yeah you just fucked him up, and so and the fact that she can that she didn't understand like what was going on, I didn't like that for her. What did you
yeah.
think?
Well, yeah, and considering like the amount of time she spent, like grieving loud, and
Right, yeah,
all of the time that John like kind of uh, like gave her, to be very mean to him. That's just like, yeah, this just happened yesterday, and it
right,
should be pretty apparent that like he's not over it. He's going
yeah,
through a lot.
yeah, she's telling him to get it together. And yeah, I don't mind the idea of like alternating driving, but also yeah, if the other person isn't really up to it, don't force them, and get upset with them about it. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it was kind of cut in a way I just didn't pay attention, but yeah, I had to go back and watch the teaser, but I completely missed that Axel was going after Mayhem. But maybe that's not something we knew just yet, that Mayhem was behind the wheel of this particular vehicle that she took from the guy that got shot up the last time, or 2 episodes ago, I guess. It's still really great because like they're still like inside Tournament City, so it's not like they're really out on the roads and stuff. They're still being kind of monitored and
Yeah,
kind
I,
of
I love
contained.
I love this. Yeah, like this is just kind of one round, and it's in this industrial area of where it is, wherever it is. It's kind of all closed off, and you're just driving through like alleys and back roads and stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, very cool.
So also like this face off on the ice rink, I like the scene. And I guess we're learning that Deacon likes this fellatio. Uh, this is another line where Stu and Sweet Tooth were talking, and Stu basically apologizes for how he was reacting. And there was a line about like ripping Grimm's spine out, and little Sub-Zero reference to Mortal Kombat. I like the eyes, of all the characters looking at one another, who's going to make the first move, kind of thing. Uh, and
Yeah,
I do wonder what the direction was for this sequence. I don't know if it's written like in the script, that maybe for Stu, Fly My Little Penguin, maybe that's
yeah.
written to the script, but everyone else, like, improvise. Like, what would you do on the ice skating rink? Um,
Baby's got a good shot.
yeah, yeah, Baby Preacher shoots Stu.
But yeah, I love that like wide shot after everyone's like the close up on their eyes, going back and
Right.
forth, and then just the wide shot of all of them just slowly trying to shuffle like towards it. But Stu has the little the penguin move. That's the
Yeah.
best strategy.
Yeah. Um, I like that. We're listening to Bombs Over Baghdad, B.O.B. by Outkast. And because of that song choice, it did inspire me to reshare a BTS photo of them on the bus. And I used the song Rosa Parks by Outkast. So there's that line, move to the back of the bus. So the Mayhem crashes her vehicle. I did think like, oh shit, what's gonna happen to her vehicle? Not even considering like, oh, she might just steal another one. Again, kind of like to what the character profiles gave us before the release of season two, where for vehicle it says for Mayhem, anything that she can get her hands on,
Mhm.
basically. So yeah, stealing cars, and we talked about that. We get a
Yeah,
cut
I
to
was curious how they were going to handle like because they had, what's your name, what's your car's name, like if
right.
that was going to be like you only have the one car to use. But yeah, it just seems whatever you cross the finish line in.
I'm trying to see what the signage on the windows behind Chucky say. It looks like KTK or something like that. See, don't know what that is. Love this sequence here of Mayhem fighting Chucky
Yeah.
Floop, throwing hands, throwing feet. Um,
She seems to have taken some kind of martial art at some
yeah,
point.
yeah. And that's why I love this particular round. You get the characters out, and they're gonna give you shit that we haven't seen yet. So just needed a hand. That's a fun line there. Uh, and so Chucky Floop's teeth got knocked out, had a little slow-mo. So we just saw that in Superman, and also season
Mhm.
6 of Cobra Kai just did that recently. So we got now a third occurrence. Yeah, I'm sure there's been several others that we haven't seen, that I'm not privy to. But there you go. Chucky got his wish. He flew, right?
Yeah. From the first season of the Chucky TV show, Chucky
Uh-huh.
throws an old lady out of a window, similar to that.
Same thing to the first Child's Play movie,
Yeah.
where Chucky throws the babysitter. I think it was a friend of the mom, if I remember that correctly. But yeah, yeah, Quatro, what we are gonna learn is the Audi that Mayhem ends up taking from Chucky now that he is dead. She did lose her vehicle. So yeah, really great crafting there of this episode. Yeah, they got the GPS. They got the GPS, and because of John and Quiet not meshing, they still got to one of the checkpoints with like several other people.
Mhm.
So
Which I would, when, yeah, if I ran into that ice rink and saw the other people there, I'd be like, well, I'm just going to leave. I'm
yeah,
going to go
go somewhere
somewhere else.
else. There's eight of
Yeah.
them. There's eight of
Yeah.
them. So
Only one of you can take it anyway. So my odds are better going somewhere else.
right, it is the fact that like Raven was crawling. It's like you're not gonna get that fast crawling. Stu had the right idea there. Yeah, I do love this. She did not know where the car was parked. He was kind of tucked away a little bit over here. We see evacuation, emergency evacuation. I was just trying to read some signs in the background there. So, this is voiced by Jimmy Simpson. I know him best from, I believe it was called Unsolved, the investigation of the Tupac and Biggie murders, something like that. That was a TV show on USA that I covered before my coverage of Cobra Kai. and he
Okay.
played one of the investigators that was investigating the murders of that fucking Biggie. For my
Oh yeah.
coverage there, yeah, I was able to interview Greg Kading, who was actually one of the investigators who investigated that case. So I spoke
Is
with the
it,
guy who investigated the case of the fucking
is
Biggie.
it this Jimmy Simpson?
It's a little, I can't even make out the face. All I see is a jacket. Tap on the
Oh
Jimmi.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
Yep.
right, yeah. One of the McPoyle twins from It's Always Sunny.
I didn't never saw that.
Okay. Yeah. I know him from that, and he's at the very end of Zodiac, David Fincher's Zodiac.
Oh God, I haven't seen that in so long. That's the one with Gyllenhaal,
With what?
Gyllenhaal and Ruffalo.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, okay. I'll have to go back and watch that, but probably the same one, I'm sure.
yeah, for
Jimmi.
sure.
So Chucky had the advantage. Not, had had an advantage.
Pretty
I
big
don't
one.
know. I mean, definitely more of an advantage than like Sweet Tooth. Like this guy had a vehicle that drove itself. It's just AI, right? Like this is
Yeah,
the best vehicle to have. You know,
which really reflects poorly on him
yeah,
in the
right. It
past,
does.
like qualifier, that he wasn't able to do more damage to other drivers.
Right. It does. It speaks to that, but also how um convenient, because Mayhem, isn't the best driver. She's just learning. So
Mhm.
that's gonna really help her. So she does, yeah, have someone that's gonna be assisting her there. I love the sequence as well where Grim like goes off of a bit of a ramp to get a ride from Sweet Tooth. That was really nice. So now three people, including a motorcycle, in what was a mail truck. Thanks for the lift,
And so
Marcus.
I was a little confused watching it. So Sweet Tooth and Stu, they got the pass. Grim did not have a pass, correct? He just
Uh
he rode in with their pass, like to get by.
oh, you know what? I'm not sure actually. But if there's eight, and we're to assume that everybody had one, and well, let's see here. Chucky dies.
Mhm.
Shit. Man, we'll have to kind of
Yeah,
wait a little bit.
we can take stock at the end of the
Yeah, because
episode.
we need to figure out who's alive and kind of do
Yeah,
the math then. Because there's
I wasn't
eight.
sure if it was
Yeah,
like, oh, did he? We didn't because we didn't see him, Grim, get one. And I was like, oh, did he find a loophole to get through?
it seems like it. Yeah, that's a really great observation and question.
See, this is the point, John. Just I don't know, just drive into him or something like.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just get in the driver's seat. Do you remember this boomerang bazooka thing from the games?
No, not from the games.
Was that?
No, not from the games.
Yeah,
Just from
because
I remember from the Diesel City.
yeah, right, right. I think maybe that was just a setup from episode 4, and this is going to be the payoff. I thought maybe the extra attention to the boomerang, it did make me kind of wonder, like, oh, this is going to come back at some point. But I don't know if this works the same way as it does in the games. Well, see, I mean, I don't remember if they got to be on a time limit, right? Do we know that?
I don't remember him saying anything about time limit. I
Yeah,
believe it's
because
just you have to have the passes.
because if we're to believe Quiet, she's making it sound like this is the last one, right? That's why they're chasing after Brimstone here.
Yeah.
Kill them. Yeah. So he speaks.
So
So
yeah,
yep.
there is from the Twisted Metal wiki. Roadkill has special weapon Boomerang Blast, a
Okay.
missile that curves back towards your car. If you strike an enemy while the boomerang's returning, it is 3 times as powerful.
Ah. So yep. So there's the special. Did you immediately wonder if Baby Preacher got blown up too?
I assumed that like, oh, they just killed that baby.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to find out what brand the car seat is. Yeah, because it looks like it's pretty safe and durable and flame resistant or intolerant or something. Um yeah. Look at that baby is still good. So I think that's the car seat that you're gonna want. And the fact that John can't muscle this past Baby Preacher's hands, I think speaks to the baby. And so
Yeah.
very interested to see if we see the return of Baby Preacher after this episode.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we saw it speak whole words earlier.
Kill him.
Yeah.
Poor baby.
I guess now we'll see if they get another advantage in the next one because they finished last once
Right,
again.
because yeah, you're right. Learn to drive is a Washington license plate that Stu, no, I'm sorry, Mike and Dave, their vehicle. I love how Harold has the goggles, the safety goggles, and
Yeah.
the torch there. Grudges are back on the menu, so are blood feuds and vendettas. So I wonder what that means for Mike here, the way they kind of focus in on that with Stu kind of looking over. This is I've never seen an auto club set up like this at any high school before. Pretty nice.
No. Yeah. I think the one in my high school had room for a car.
Yeah. But also like maybe Calypso like repurposed this and equipped it with enough things to assist the drivers. So this is where, basically this is their pit stop, take your time, fix your vehicle for the next one, that kind of thing. Here we get Mayhem being acquainted with Quatro, and she's up in her feels a little bit, needs to have a talk with somebody about what we're going to find out is her first kill. What did you think about this Calypso showing up and saying, "I'll take the baby"?
Yeah, I like them kind of being apprehensive at first and
Yeah.
then just like, never mind. I really don't want to deal with this baby.
Daddy Calypso. The Calypso fans are going to love that line.
One
Congratulations on surviving the first round.
we saw that like tournament like bracket earlier that did
Oh, yeah,
have the Jason Mantzoukas preacher, like on the bracket.
right.
So he's already Clifton's already kind of familiar with Preacher. Maybe
That's
this is
true.
like a reunion.
It could be. I wonder if, yeah, next time we see the baby, like you mentioned previously, like if we're going to have a Mandukas type beard on the baby, or at least little peach fuzz, little mustache going. So we find out a little bit more about Quiet. Her first kill was in the OC. I forget, was it a blueberry picker?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we're gonna find out. But yeah, I love the way they Gil was it Nilly? Nilly Gil I forgot the writer's me. Let me pull it up real quick here.
Yeah, they're
Gilly
discussing.
Neeson, yeah. This the fact that she writes this like this first kill as if it was like the first time, someone had sex.
Mhm. They're talking
So
about body count in the
right,
old way, not the new slime way.
right. And yeah, this is I like this scene because this is um something that I liked from episode 3, Test Drive. It's like that sisterly vibe, between Quiet and Mayhem. And so we kind of get, basically a continuation from that. We haven't
Mhm.
really seen these two interact in this way basically since then, because in between, Mayhem has entered herself into the tournament and she didn't want any help from Quiet. And so there was all of that. Yeah. So Blueberry Picker and the OC just kept on hassling her apparently. So she was killed with her hatchet, as you do. I forgot to change the picture here behind me. We got Chucky Floop, R.I.P. So we're most to the end here. I don't think we've really missed anything else from the talk with Mayhem and Quiet. Now we got Quiet talking with John,
Yeah,
you
kind of just
know, having a heart to
what's
heart.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, what never seen you like this.
And I like that sincere question. Is it us? Like that took me back a little bit, like those breakups. Just like, is it us? Is it me? What's going on? And I do love how John is, now the fact that she's actually asking him and, they're together, alone, there's nobody around, they can be themselves. Um, finally he's able to kind of be honest with her. He admits that he's lied, and now he tells her that he changed, or at least made his own wish. So, okay, so that's gonna be interesting. And yeah, no response, and then we end. No look ahead to see what this episode has. Um, the fact that he says, "I made my own wish." Now, I do wonder if they break off as a pair, does that still count? Because Calypso said one wish per car. So if somebody
Yeah.
else dies and let's say John takes who else is remaining? Frostbite, for
Hmm.
example, takes a Frostbite's vehicle. Is that okay? Right? Like they made, both Quiet and John made separate wishes and now they're driving different cars. Does that still work? So, and if it does, that will make for an interesting, race to the end of like, are they gonna be fighting against each other? Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have an opinion, but do you think do you think they will go head to head, or will they decide one or the other in terms of those wishes? Like do you think they're gonna have to decide between the two or go head to head?
I mean, I hadn't considered like them splitting up, but honestly, that is kind of what seems, but that what like rings the most true to me is that there, will be a split and they'll be kind of going against each other.
Yeah, I mean the way Anthony Mackie plays John there at the very end, he admits I lied to you. I made my own wish. I feel I feel if I had if I had to decide, I want them to decide on one wish, and I think it would be what they originally entered the tournament for. Um, just in my opinion, it's nice that John got his sister, and they had some great moments together, all because of Quiet. I don't know if I don't necessarily buy it that that's what John is gonna put it all on the line for. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and maybe that's why we needed to hear everybody's wishes. But if I don't want to say like prioritizing, but um, like what they were initially entering the tournament for is far greater for the return of Krista, like in their real world. So I don't know. It is going to be an interesting 5 episodes left, right? So seven, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's how math works. Yeah, so 5 episodes left. Um, anything else you want to talk about in this episode before we get to the uh the games
no, I
here?
mean, yeah, I think you covered it. It's really just going to be what is the response to learning, what John did, and how are they going to proceed uh, after this.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the games. What is your Marcus? That's your line, the best line of this episode. I can
Uh,
go first again.
uh, Fly, my little penguin.
That is it's a great line. I considered it. I had mine already. Basically, I decided on this line, I think yesterday or the day before on social media for sure. Because there was something that Tyler Johnston, I think it's Johnston who plays Deacon, um, Johnson or Johnston. Pretty sure there's a T in there, but he shared something and I commented. Maybe it was actually Richard DeClerc, the Mr. Grimm. I think he shared something of Deacon and I commented. So my best line was my milking titty. It's what Deacon and Quiet were fighting because
Mhm.
we knew about Benjamin. Apparently Deacon also can breastfeed. So I thought that was the one that took me out for this episode. Who was your best character?
I think probably Mayhem this episode, taking out Chucky and making a new friend in the car. Uh, I'm excited to see the partnership between them.
I do like that one a lot. I'm gonna give it to Stu for the penguin slide. For I don't want to say using his head, using his body or his belly rather, was really really smart, and that stuck out. And every time I see it, I laugh every time. Just the he Mitch really committed to that moment. Best costume didn't have anybody new really, but anyone you want to really point
Yeah,
out
no,
this time?
no one knew. I'll give it to Preacher. You know, we get to see the baby in action a little bit. Some more, you know, it's more of a character now that it's talking and shooting guns.
Did we see the hat before this episode? Maybe.
I don't remember.
Hmm. Yeah, well, let's give it to Baby Preacher. I could have had the hat before, but I only really started noticing it this time around. Maybe because it's outdoors and they had the hat, and I don't know. But I feel for some reason I just started noticing it in this episode. What about Best Death?
Oh, I mean, yeah, Chucky falling on the car, getting flying kicked out of a window.
Yeah, yeah. I am also giving it to Chucky Floop. He wished to fly. He ain't shit. Okay, he was considering wishing for like bigger girth or something like that. But
Yeah.
the fact that they set it up pretty early on. Like this guy's an asshole. The comment he made about um frostbite. I forgot the line, but he talked about her boobs, there early on, and that kind of got Dave to talk about like quiet and how she looks fine, not objectifying her, something like that. But yeah, it's something where you're like, I would be okay if Chucky died, and he did. So yeah,
Mhm.
post fall slang.
See, I didn't. Nothing stood out. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing stood out for me. However, I'm gonna go with something I had not considered was a shipping name, and we got Quan. Uh,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Coincidentally, there was a Quon character in season 6 of Cobra Kai. But yeah, did not even think about a shipping name for that of Quiet and John. I mean, what would the other one be? Jayet, right? So
Yeah.
it's either Quan or Jayet. And so I'm gonna go with that one. When he said that, I go, oh yeah, your shipping names. Forgot about those. Bingo card. What did you not expect to see on your Twisted Metal bingo card?
Oh, I mean the Quatro.
Ah,
The alien talking car. Yeah.
yeah. When I did a Q&A, I think it was last week, somebody asked me what's a character that has not shown up yet that I would like to see. I went with No Face because of the way that that character looks. Basically like the eyes and the mouth are kind of I don't remember, it was like Stitch closed or something like that. But I had considered Quattro for being like an alien, and I'm just like, oh, they're not gonna bring an alien here. Not, even really knowing my cars, maybe if I knew like the Audi Quattro was a Quattro, I could have been like, well, I mean, also it simply could have been just a regular Easter egg, and they held it on for a good 2 episodes, before
Mhm.
we found out that that Audi Quattro is actually the Quattro character. So I do like yeah, just kind of holding that close to the vest there. For my bingo card, I'm gonna circle back to what you said about Mayhem. I did not expect to see a hand-to-hand, combat, and the fact that Mayhem could, hold her own and so, yeah, where did she learn that, and why was it so fluid? She has sparred before, whether it was actual competition, but we did find out that basically, Chucky is her first kill. So, yeah, she learned that somewhere.
Perhaps
Best
she
use
has
of us, yeah.
studied some old tapes of the All Valley.
That
tournament.
could be it. If we want to stay in the Karate Kid universe, like maybe she learned from a book, like Daniel did in the first movie.
Yeah.
Best use of a swear word.
Back to Mayhem, the unconvincing trying to sell that she's a murder slut.
I'll
When
go
she
with
is just confident as hell that is something she's never done before.
I'm gonna go with the murder slut as well, but I feel if anything, Mayhem had a lot of good ones. I think maybe the swear word. Those are the ones like on the spot for some reason. I just can't come up with one. But that one really stood out. But yeah, this episode was full of them, like the rest of them. But that's one that's gonna stand out for me. Okay, all right. So that is our game for episode 7, Hit and Run. Next week we got two more before we get the final three for the last week of Twisted Metal. So the next episodes we have. Did I reveal the names?
Uh, I mean, you haven't before. I mean,
Okay,
if they're out there, like I don't, I
that's
think that's
true.
fine.
And I mean, there's no sort of description, so that's good.
Yeah,
Episodes 8 and 9 next week. We got Sudden Death and Va Va Voom. So
I'm gonna call a shot that Vava Voom is going to be the prom episode that we've
yeah.
seen like clips of.
I think so. Sudden death that usually sudden death I equate that to like a one-on-one. So, we've never really done this and we didn't really get a look ahead. Do you think it's possible that okay, the fact that John and Quiet made two separate wishes, do you think that might be some sort of violation against like a rule of Calypso, pitting them against each other for a sudden death, right? Like, how do you
Yeah,
interpret sudden death? I feel usually in games, a sudden death is a one-on-one.
yeah. I mean, I could definitely see like like hey, you each made a wish, only one of you can like continue or something like that. I could also see like round two is going to be like pitting one driver against another driver to knock out more drivers. So like Mayhem and Axel, have to complete a specific task, and first one, actually gets to move on or something like that.
I could also see that maybe that what we saw in episode 6 with the Make a Wish, I can also see that just not being the actual like, well, that's the wish you made and that's what we're gonna go with kind of thing. Like,
Mhm.
I like the idea of them still doing, like the wish once they win, right? Like this whole reveal. I like, the fact that we're both kind of like, I don't know, like they revealed all their wishes right now. I feel that's a little kind of a lackluster way of presenting the wishes or something. Um, I don't know. Like I feel, why did they reveal it to us so early on, like halfway through the season? Yeah, and how we kind of like just kind of like skipped over. Well, what was it that Sweet Tooth and Stu? What was their wish? We didn't
Yeah.
hear Mike's wish, and so there's got to be a chance where we do find those out, right? Question mark.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I don't know. That's going to be really interesting. I wish. I don't even know if you really knew the games and if you're as big of a fan of those games, would you even have an
Very
idea of the
casual.
narrative, right?
Oh yeah,
What were you gonna say?
yeah. Oh no, I thought yeah, I was saying for myself, yeah, very casual.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't think that if you just knew of the games, just kind of like, oh, they're car combat games that I've heard of. I don't think a wish being granted would come to mind, would be common
right.
knowledge.
Oh man, yeah. These two episodes in particular, I think because like we're kind of questioning a lot of things, I think they are setting up for the second half, and so I mean I'm really excited but also scared at the same time. Okay, so anything else you want to talk about from either two episodes before we finish off here?
No, yeah, I think we covered it.
All right. And if you guys haven't yet, go check out the Doughboys. They've been doing the Twisted Monthal. I think that's the way they worded it. At the time of this recording, I believe the next couple of episodes, they just had Patty Guggenheim and Grant DeCurnian. Grant wrote episode 4, the one with Deal City there. Um, I'm forgetting the title of that. That was Let's Get Busy. So he was the writer of that episode, and Patty Guggenheim, Raven, she was in the last previous episode. So I think that was the third episode. And then the next one should be Richard DeClercq, which is Mr. Grimm. And then I believe the episode after that is Bill Benz, the director of several of these episodes from both seasons 1 and 2. Notably, he also did episode uh, 7 and 8, Nut House and Evelyn, right? So the flashback plus the Milkman's pit stop and also the Evelyn flashback along with what else is going on in the episode. But yeah, he's done a shit ton. And with season 2, he's kind of become, I don't want to say necessarily like the resident director, kind of like the main one, but he's got more of the episodes in season 2 for sure. Kind of almost replacing Katao, who's working on Street Fighter right now. Yeah, looking forward to a lot of these. But yeah, we're actually kind of inching to 1,000 followers on Instagram, and once we get to 1,000, we can do lives. And so we have two more drops left in terms of the episodes. We got 7 and 8 and no 8 and 9 next week, and then 10, 11, 12 on the second week there. So I think it's very possible we can reach 1,000 and get to at the least the final three. So yeah, just continue to help share the content, the episodes to get people to follow. But yeah, as these new episodes drop, I'm getting more and more follows by the day. So that's really exciting stuff. And I want to thank everybody that's supports us here. So Tyler, where can people find you on social media to give you a follow?
Yeah, you can find me at 300 points, 300 PTS on X and Instagram and Rorik on Blue Sky. That's it.
All
That's
right,
where
for
I am,
me, huh?
and that's where I am.
Oh, that's where he is. And for me, I am on X and Instagram, Twisted Metal Pod. You can find me pretty simple, just tapping that in. And yep, thanks again to all that's has supported us and giving us a follow on the social media, subscribing to the YouTube channel. All of that will really help with whatever algorithm is out there. People are finding us slowly but surely. But I cannot wait for all 12 episodes to be out because I'm sure there are several people out there that are waiting for that so they can binge. So I expect, tons of new people to find it after the 12th episode. So until the next episode, keep it twisted.